Hey, everybody. This is Kelly Anderson, Biohacker Mom. I'm so happy to see you guys. And I'm here with she is my high school buddy, Margaret. And she now goes by the name of Maggie, the substitute teacher. Yes. It's kind of weird for me to call you Maggie,
You
but
can call me Margaret. Please call me Margaret. That's actually more familiar.
so Margaret and we grew up in Athens, Georgia, and interestingly enough, Margaret is actually from Africa,
Hmm.
and she moved over here when she was a year old.
Hmm.
And her parents were both students at the University of Georgia, which was the big university in our hometown. Go
Hmm.
Dogs!
Go
We love
dogs.
to go Dogs. I've got my bracelet that my daughter made me, my Go Dogs bracelet.
Absolutely. I've got a pillow over there, so I'm right there with you.
We're all dogs around here.
Hmm.
So, and I think your parents, well, I know your dad later became a professor at UGA, right?
Well, actually, mom was a professor at Fort Valley State. Dad was a high school teacher, but they both finished their PhD. So I grew up in that bubble of academia at
Yeah,
University of Georgia. Hmm.
definitely. And then Margaret and I were in high school together. We were actually in the marching band together. That was very fun,
It
and
was.
we were on the drill team, and that was very fun. I
Yep.
still I think when I see you, I see the little gold
That's right. Oh, the
gold.
sparkles. Oh, I remember. Oh, such sweet memories.
Yes. And those shirts were terrible. They weren't made very well, but they all had gaps for every girl. They were like gapped right here at the boobs.
Perfect placement, yes, and the sneakers and the cummerbund, all of that.
It was such a kooky time, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Margaret, I think of her as a dear friend and just a really special, just genuine, kind, gentle person.
Mhm.
And over the past couple of years, I started watching her on Facebook, and I was like, what is she up to? She's up to something kind of interesting.
Mm.
So Margaret has been on a huge health journey. I'm going to let her talk about it, but she's been on
Yeah.
this huge health journey, and it's been
Mhm.
so fun to watch, so
Mhm.
interesting. And now, recently, it's just kind of starting to explode into this whole new thing. So, and we'll get into that too. But I want to start out first with just first of all, introduce yourself, tell people what you'd like for them to know about you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kelly. Hi, everybody. And yes, you can still call me Margaret. Most of the people that remember me from high school will remember Margaret Appiah. And like Kelly said, I am the daughter of immigrants, was born in Ghana, which is a country in West Africa, beautiful country. And like most immigrants, my parents came to the States for education and opportunity. So we came here when I was one, and I grew up in Athens, Georgia. Mom and dad were students at the university, and so I grew up there from elementary, middle, and high school. Had a wonderful childhood, and then, one of the things that was always kind of a constant for me was a struggle with weight. Everyone in my family is normal size, and I was just that, chubby kid, and kind of believed that I was just plus size or big boned and all the things that we tell ourselves. And I still have had a great life, was able to do everything I wanted to do, but post 40, the weight problem started to turn into a health problem. For anybody who can relate, you avoid the scale and you only have that talk when you go to the doctor once a year. And, bottom line, I was pre-diabetic. I had elevated cholesterol and borderline blood pressure. And we all know as we age, like I said, I like to age gracefully, but we know as we age, things change, and I didn't like the way that they were changing. And so, having been someone who's been on all of the diets and tried everything, I finally found what worked for me. And for me, that was seeing a metabolic specialist who did a food sensitivity test. Saw a coworker at work who had lost weight. And of course, like we always do, I asked her, what are you doing? And she told me she got her gut health checked. And I had never heard that before. And so when I went in to see the metabolic specialist, she took one look at me and she said, you're really not that big. You just have a lot of inflammation. And I had never heard that before. So the test for me was in her office. It was a cheek swab on the inside and then some hair samples. And I got a list of foods that my body tolerates well and a list of foods that I have to avoid. So the whole thing, and why you see Maggie, the substitute teacher, is it's kind of ballooned into this movement, if you will. And what Kelly was seeing, just to bring it back full circle, I started off by just changing what I eat. I guess I call it an elimination diet. So just eliminating the foods that are on my no-no list. And because I come from a very small and close nuclear family, my mom's doctorate was actually in family and consumer sciences. We know that as home economics. So I grew up, I like to say, with the African Martha Stewart. And since I was little, mom made sure that I was in the kitchen, learning how to cook and keep a home, as well as keep good grades. And, I've been to college and I've been corporate and all of that. But long story shorter, I started using the skills and the inspiration that I had developed, just cooking for the family like we all do, and trying to make substitutions for the foods that I would cook for the family or things that I used to want to eat, and substituting out the ingredients that were approved for me. So when I would post the picture, this is what I'm eating today, because I'm pretty good at presentation, people would say, oh my goodness, did you make that? And that turned into more pictures and a YouTube channel. And like Kelly said, she's seen me on Facebook and I'm everywhere. So the whole Maggie, the substitute teacher, I'm still Margaret Appiah for anybody that knows me as that, but Maggie is my childhood name. So that's kind of who I am and what I'm doing.
And it's very exciting to watch, I will say. I have enjoyed the progression. And, she posts herself regularly in gorgeous dresses and showing her progress with the weight loss. That's been fun. But then it's also been really fun to watch the kinds of food that you make.
Yep.
In my opinion, you're thinking outside of the box, and that's what I like about you. Before we got on, Margaret was saying she's not quite sure what a biohacker is, but I see her very much as a biohacker because she's thinking outside of the box for ways to be healthier, to stay young, and really live and function as optimally as possible. That's how I see biohacking. So I've got to ask, the substitute teacher part, where did that come from?
It's so funny. And to your point, so I have a goal of at least 100 pounds off. I've lost 75 and I'm maintaining that. So I've got at least 25 more to go. And, funnily enough, everything that you're seeing now with the YouTube channel and whatnot is new. People have been telling me when I would post my food, you're really good at that. You need a cookbook. Or when you make a cookbook, I want an autographed copy. And I always used to say, oh yeah, one day when the kids are up and out. I work from home, thankfully, in tech. And so, life is full and busy. And there is another YouTuber that I saw. He's online as the lead attorney, and he's actually a retired now attorney who took up a YouTube channel as a pandemic hobby and just bringing his expertise. And he had said one day I was watching him, he said, if you're over 35, you need to start a YouTube channel because you have expertise and experience that people need to know about. So it was just one of these things where people were saying, you need a cookbook, or how did you do that? And I was always explaining to people, usually just through pictures, I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. So the inspiration for me, because I work from home, I do keep the TV on. I used to keep it on the news, but that's depressing now. So I moved to the cooking channels. And so I'll have anything from, Bon Appetit or Food Network or any of that stuff on mute, just always throughout the day. So I'll walk by and I'll say beautiful recipes. My screensavers, everything is food related because I love to eat. And one of the things struggling with weight growing up is that I thought I would either like the way that I looked and hate my food or love my food and not like the way that I look. So the inspiration that I get, for example, if I'm watching a cooking show, I'll watch it and I'll say, wow, that looks amazing. Oh, but I can't have that, and I can't have that, and I can't have that. Then I would just start thinking, because I literally have a list of foods on the fridge, but if I substitute this for this, and substitute that for that, and substitute that for that, I can have a version of it because I enjoy food. I know some people are like, yeah, as long as I'm not hungry, I don't care what I'm eating. I think eating is an experience. I love to travel. I like to eat and experiment with different cuisine. And so, just taking my upbringing and the fact that I was cooking anyway, and now that I'm thankfully, not corporate anymore, working from home, at least not in the office corporate. I still work, but I'm able to kind of experiment. And my YouTube channel is turned into live cooking demonstrations where people will send me recipes and I'll say, let's try it. I'll always make the substitute version, which in a nutshell, I'm pretty much sugar-free, dairy-free, and gluten-free. So what I eat is lean protein, some vegetables and fruits, usually the ones that are lower in sugar, very little starch and almost no sugar. So that's kind of the box that I work in. Because when I got my test results, I was shocked. A lot of the stuff that I was eating all the time came up on my test results: chicken, coffee, dairy, citrus, gluten. And I'm like, what am I supposed to eat? I eat this stuff all the time. But what I've learned is that, some things your body processes really well and you're just kind of humming along like a race car. And then some things hang around in your body and you think it's just the aches and pains of aging. I had bad joint pain. I was taking a pain pill all the time. Some of us have migraines. Some of us have eczema. Some of us are tired throughout the day. Some of us are bloated, weight gain. And what I found out is oftentimes it's what you're eating that your body is struggling to process, but you don't know, and you just keep eating it. So that information for me was life changing. So the whole substitute teacher is just a play on, I know I kind of have this teacher vibe, and I come from, both of my parents are retired now, but they're retired teachers. And so my best friend was kind of like, you need something catchy. How about Maggie, the substitute teacher? And I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's caught on, and I'm really having fun with it.
Yes, you are having fun with it. I can
Mhm.
tell,
Mhm.
and it's magnetizing. I hope everyone who's watching will go and check out Margaret's YouTube, Maggie the Substitute Teacher, because what I like about you, and something that I'm trying to work on just in my life in general, you have
Mhm.
a very calming presence about you.
Mm.
And that's
Mhm.
what kind of pulls me in. It's not,
Mm.
we're so inundated with, like in your face and all that. And you
Yeah.
are the antithesis of that. You're just
Thank you.
very calming. And oddly enough, I don't like cooking. Well,
Okay.
take that back. I like cooking. I don't really like cooking very much.
I love the honesty.
If I have a partner to cook with,
Yeah.
then that can be kind of fun.
Right.
Sometimes Olivia and I will cook together. Sometimes it's great, it's amazing, and then other times it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with focusing on the recipes,
Mm-hmm.
but when I watch you, you're so calming and just methodical. It
Mm.
kind of like pulls you in, and it's almost just kind of like ah, you know, uh,
Mm.
just kind of a relaxing experience. So
Thank you.
that's what I enjoy about your cooking show. And I this is my realm. Even though I don't like cooking, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very interested in nutrition,
Absolutely.
and so I'm always interested in what you're doing, how you're substituting. My hard thing with cooking is working around milk and milk products because so much has cheese.
Oh yeah.
Um, I have a lot of milk issues also,
Yep.
and goat cheese I have found is like my savior. Do you feel the same way about goat cheese?
I'm telling you, that has been a lifesaver for me because I used to drink milk, eat yogurt, cottage cheese, half and half in coffee. I love cheese.
Yeah.
And I was actually very sad when I first got my, test results. I
Right.
have been retested. This is year 3 on my journey. And so I get tested about once a year. And what I found is that some things will fall off so you can incorporate them back in once you've given your body time to kind of, reset. But one thing that has been consistent for me is cow's dairy.
Yeah.
So, what I have found, like you said, my metabolic specialist said, okay, you can have goat's cheese. This is new to me. I've never had goat's cheese. I'm like, what is that? But a
Mhm.
lot of what I've done and with my cooking is experimenting and trying brands. And if they don't work, I will say so. If I don't like that funky taste, I'm going to say so. Now, my palate has completely changed, and I love kind of like scouring out and looking for, hidden gems. But yes, goat cheese comes in many forms. The 3 that I enjoy, you can get the crumbled goat cheese. That's a great substitute for feta. You can sprinkle that on salads. You can use that if you're making Italian dishes. It's a nice white pop of color against a red sauce or a green spinach salad. You can also get creamy goat's cheese, which is like a little log. So that's my substitute for cream cheese. This morning I did a video. It was like a smoked salmon bagel. And instead of cream cheese, because I can't have dairy, I used a smooth and spreadable goat's cheese. I absolutely love that. Put on crackers as a snack or with apple slices, like a little dip, because it's got that protein in it and it keeps you fuller a little bit longer. So it'll hold you between meals. I
Mhm.
love that as a substitute for cream cheese and ricotta cheese. Also for sour cream, when I make like a cauliflower mashed potato, absolutely love goat's cheese. And my signature item, the Maggie cakes, which is a blueberry pancake that's made from eggs and cheese. All of the videos are on my YouTube page. And then my third and final goat's cheese substitute is a melting cheese. I really like the Leclerc. It comes in a square like a cheese block, and you do have to shred it. And I've actually learned that, shredding your own cheese, I know it sounds crazy, but it avoids the fillers and the extra ingredients that are in already shredded cheese. Look, I'm not the food police. I tell my class all the time, they've named themselves Maggie Scholars. Use what you have, right? We all start somewhere, but there's a pepper jack goat's milk cheese that melts really well. It's a great substitute for me for pepper jack in a quesadilla, for mozzarella on top of a potato. I don't eat potato. Tomato underneath the broiler. There are options. So what I found is that you kind of have to look for them. So that's one thing that my channel has done is kind of shared, hey, you guys, I tried this and it is good, or I tried it and it is not good, because I will say so. And you can find a lot of this stuff in your regular grocery store, but a couple things, you may have to look in another area. So for example, the goat's cheese, let's take Walmart. When you go all the way to the back where the regular dairy is, that's where you'll find the milk and the cottage cheese and like the Kraft cheese slices. Your goat's cheese is not going to be there. Your goat's cheese is going to be towards the front of the store in that deli area where they're shaving the boar's head. That's
Right.
where you're going to find some of these items. So it's kind of a hunt. I do use the delivery services, so I let someone else go find it. I just add it to the cart. But yes, goat's cheese has been a lifesaver. And I always say, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a home cooker. I'm a boy mom times 2. So that's what they used to call me when they were little. But finding those substitute ingredients allows me to make the type of recipes that I want to have with the list of foods that I have to have.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I
Thank you.
love what you're doing. It's exactly how I have thought because I have known about my food allergies since my early 20s,
Mm,
especially milk.
mm-hmm,
I have gluten issues as well.
mm-hmm.
And so I have been kind of thinking in this way for a long time,
Yeah.
but my food was never ever as beautiful as yours is. And
Thank you.
I'm so jealous because I'm like, because I don't have the focus or concentration.
Yeah.
I'm just getting some lettuce and putting some goat cheese on top.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about yours is these are actually like really, real dishes that look delicious that
Thank
I
you.
really want to try some. Olivia and I are definitely going to try the pancakes. Those are the ones that I really want to try.
So,
But it just they look delicious and
thank you.
exactly, I know they would work for me and probably most people out there.
Mhm.
We're finding a large majority of the population has these food allergies.
Yeah,
So I definitely want to promote what you're doing. I think you definitely need to have a cookbook coming on very, very
it's
soon.
coming. It's
Um,
coming.
yes, good. Um, for gluten, what
Mhm.
do you make any of your gluten like breads or even the pancakes? You make them from scratch, and what are you using to substitute the gluten?
Yeah, that was a tough one. So being gluten-free, as much as I love bread, bread does not love me back. So gluten is that dough that comes from that, that chewy, texture that we love. Imagine like, rolling out fresh pizza dough. So I have to avoid it. So, substitutes, for example, tortillas, I find the cassava tortillas are a great substitute. So instead of using a tortilla made from flour, you can find at Whole Foods or even some of the regular stores, a tortilla made from cassava, which is a root vegetable, so it counts as a vegetable for me. Siete is a brand, Siete. They have a lot of gluten-free, non-grain type Latin, chips and whatnot. But you can make your own. I've done recipes where I've cut up, a foldable tortilla, made it into chips for nachos, made it into chips for sopapilla, made it into fish tacos. Of course, last night I did a veggie quesadilla for pancakes. And a lot of my inspiration, like I said, comes from what I'm cooking for the family anyway. So I made breakfast for dinner for the boys one night. And I have all the regular stuff in the house. They had Bisquick, pancakes, Oscar Mayer bacon, log cabin syrup, all the good stuff. And I'm cleaning up and I'm like, man, I can't have any of this stuff. So I dreamt up a way to create something that would give me the pancake experience. So the Maggie cakes are really a play off of the egg loaf, which is a little time consuming, but you can mix eggs and cream cheese or goat's cheese for me in a blender, a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 egg for every ounce of goat's cheese or cream cheese. Lots of videos on my page. You guys can walk through and pause it and recreate them yourself. You can add fruit. You can make it sweet. You can make it savory. And funnily enough, when you pour it on the griddle, you blend it up so there's no flour. When you pour it on the griddle or use the little mini dash devices, which are great for kids, it fluffs up like a pancake. So I'll make a nice stack. So, like I always tell my class, it's what you eat. It's not what you eat from time to time. It's what you eat all of the time. So if I am going somewhere, traveling, vacation or whatever, just came back from Costa Rica for spring break and we had rice and beans at just about every meal. And I enjoyed myself. And the scale showed it. So I had to get all that weight off, the vacation weight off. So I just want to correct one small thing. I don't necessarily have food allergies where anything is life threatening. I know some people are very allergic to peanuts. This is not that. Food sensitivities, and I did put an article about this on my community tab on my YouTube page. It's Maggie, the substitute teacher on all platforms. And it's basically like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but it's kind of like your body's trying to, churn through and process this, but it's just not doing it. And if you don't know, you're just continuing to eat it. And so your body is screaming out in other ways. Like I said, I walked around with back pain and knee pain and just stuff that I attributed to, well, I'm just getting older. But 48 hours after I changed my diet and started eating what was on the approved list for me, all of those aches and pains went away. And you haven't really lost any weight in 2 days. So I knew it was what I was eating that was causing the problems.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just think about how many people are walking around, have no idea, are
Yeah.
suffering from these issues
Mm-hmm.
now. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's an easy fix, but it's definitely a doable fix. And
Absolutely.
you have to think about it, and sometimes you have to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
But there are ways to really help a lot, so many of our conditions
Right.
through through nutrition and, the, you know, what we're putting in our bodies, definitely.
Absolutely.
So I had another question with food.
Okay.
Back to the tortillas. What kind of tortillas did you say they are again? Spell that for me.
Yes, cassava, Cassava. So cassava is very well known in African and Caribbean cultures. It's a very big, like tube, almost like looks like this huge potato, or sometimes people call them yams, but it's basically a root vegetable. You can find them, I believe, Publix. I know Whole Foods. I buy mine online. One of the things that, like I said about these ingredients, sometimes you're in a different place in the store, and then sometimes they don't stock a lot of them. So it's not uncommon for me to go into the store. There's a goat's butter that I use that I love at Whole Foods because it's made from goat's milk, because I can't have cow dairy. And they may only have like one or two on the shelf, where, the other stuff, takes up the whole space. And so I find myself making the trip out there and grabbing everything on the shelf, or if they're out, then I'm frustrating and I'm rummaging through what the kids have, which is not good for me. So a lot of times when I find an ingredient that works, I try to buy directly from the manufacturer. I may have to buy it by, the box, but I'm going to use it. And so that's something that's worked for me. But yeah, cassava tortillas, there are a lot of gluten-free options I've seen. Some crackers. I use the Crunchmaster crackers, Blue Diamond Nut Thins. One of the ones that I really loved is from a brand called From the Ground Up. And they make something called a cauliflower stalk, and it's my substitute for veggie straws. So if you like potato chips and you like a salty, crunchy snack and you want a good substitute for that,
Okay.
veggie straws are fine, but I believe they're made from potato starch or potato flour, and I don't eat potato. So the cauliflower is a great bread substitute. Tonight for dinner, I'm going live and I'm going to make a roast beef sandwich. I can't decide if I'm going to make it open-faced or closed, and I'm going to be using these cauliflower thins from a brand called Outer Isle. So this is where I get a lot of the inspiration for the substitutes, and I like challenging myself, and people like to spam me with recipes, which I love, that I can try to doctor up and make in a way that I can enjoy.
Yeah, I love it. It's so creative.
Thank you.
I know it's got to be fun. Is there an online shop that you go to regularly that you would recommend?
No, to answer your question, I need to create one, because a lot of people ask me all the time, where did you get that? But I shop everywhere. Your local grocery store, Walmart, Publix, Target. I use the delivery services, Instacart, Amazon Prime, Shipt, Walmart Plus. And so I find different things in different places. And I know that's not, the easy answer, but because I buy in bulk, so for the special spreadable goat's cheese that I like, that has a very mild taste and not that funky goat milk taste, there's like a gourmet cheese shop online where if you spend over like $40, they'll ship it free on ice. I'm making that up. But because I know I'm going to consume these ingredients, sometimes I buy directly from the manufacturer, so I'll have it by the case. So that's not as practical, for people who like to go to the regular grocery store. One of the things that I tell, my scholars to do, if you have a brand that you like, or something that I'm holding up when I'm doing a kitchen cooking demonstration, try going to the manufacturer's website. So for example, that From the Ground Up, I had never heard of that before. And you can go to the manufacturer's website, and usually they have something like a store finder where you can put in your zip code and it'll tell you what stores carry it in your area. If I have one local grocery store and that's the place that I go to every week, I would probably, when I have time, just maybe take an extra lap and slow down and look and see if there are any alternatives. Maybe they're in a different place in the store. But I'm a big believer in the delivery services, because I'm able to get things that, I may not find. And, another reason why it's helpful for me, because I work from home, it saves me from having to make that extra trip. But I know I struggle with impulse buying. If I go to the store for something that's on my list and I see, a beautiful end cap display of Oreos, I'm like, man, I haven't had that flavor. I'm sure it's good. And I end up with a whole box of cookies that I don't need. So using the delivery services, especially the ones that have no minimum shipping like Walmart or $10 like Instacart, I can buy the items that I need as soon as I run out, and then they just come to the house. So that's what I do.
Yes, I like the home shopping also. The only
Hmm.
thing is like our local we have Harris Teeter here, and
Yep.
it's a Kroger brand,
Okay.
and Kroger has, for some reason, their online shopping, they've changed it, and
Okay.
it's become really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
haven't, like, they'll only let you have 30 products in the cart,
Yeah.
like in the your favorites, and it's like,
Mm.
that's hard.
Yeah. That's not a good
So
experience.
yeah, so I haven't done it for several weeks because I was like, it's almost easier to go to the grocery store. But
Yeah.
anyway, the other reason why I like the home shopping is, to segue into what I wanted to talk with you next, is we take our kids with us. I'm
Yeah.
sure you have this with two boys, and it's constant. Can I have this? Can I have this? Oh, we haven't tried this yet. Oh, can we make this tonight? And it's like,
Yeah.
so Margaret and I both are single moms,
Yeah.
and I've got a daughter. She's got two boys, and it's wonderful. But I will say, definitely going to the grocery store with your kids,
Yeah.
anybody, single mom, anybody, is can certainly have its challenges. But
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about you being a single mom entrepreneur. You know, it's not an easy feat, is it?
No, it's not. But for me, it is a labor of love. So I'm amicably divorced from the boy's father. He's a good man and a great dad. We were married for 10 years. But when we did separate, you're right. During the week, the heavy lifting is on me with the boys, even though he's in the area and gets them every weekend. Actually, now the boys are almost 13 and almost 15. So my youngest is in boarding school. He's in a military school. He wants to be a pilot one day. So we see him on the weekends. And then my oldest, who's almost 15, is finishing out the semester with dad. So I'm kind of empty nesting it right now, which is amazing. But I vividly remember the last time I took the boys grocery shopping. I think it was before the pandemic, and it was for back to school, which was a zoo. And, I have two very active boys who like to push the cart and argue about who's going which way and hop on it and ride, and stuff ends up in the cart, and you get to the conveyor belt. You're like, where did this come from? And everybody's looking around like they don't know what. Oh, and I said, yeah, I'm not doing this again. So, the delivery services have been a godsend, for me, not only because it keeps me out of that, store experience, but also, here's a tip: you can deliver to any address. So when the school needs, a case of water or whatever for field day, I place an order and I ship it there. Why am I going to go and lug that and take it? I don't do that anymore. So yes, you can try Instacart, you can try Shipped. And I think if you go to their websites, they have coupons. I also have some discount codes on my YouTube page in the About Me section, but you can put in your zip code and see what stores deliver to your area. Those companies partner with the grocery stores, and a lot of times it may be a better experience than ordering from the store itself, so you can check it out. But the entrepreneur thing, it's funny. I don't even think of myself that way, because how we always used to hear, the business or what you're good at or is something that you would do for free, anyway. And I kind of would and am doing this and have been doing this for free anyway. But, after graduating from college, I've been corporate. I've worked for a lot of big companies and had great experience. Most recently before the pandemic, I was a former executive for the Coca-Cola company here, managing a team for our global headquarters for the on-site amenities. So at the headquarters, we had 7 restaurants, a fitness center, a gym, that is the same thing, an Emory clinic, all of these different services. And so that's where I kind of got a little bit of that start into the white glove service. So I've watched chefs plus the cooking show. So I just kind of practice with it. But, I've always, worked. I still work corporate. Now I'm from home, thankfully. But it's kind of like a passion project, for me as the kids get older. And, if anybody has teenagers, after a while, they just want you to drop them off and leave. So you start to find yourself kind of like, okay, well, I guess I need to find, something to do. And, like I said, the whole Maggie, the substitute teacher thing, was kind of like, all right, I'm 75 pounds down, 25 more to go. This is year 3 for me. I want this to be the last year because I'm going low and slow. There's no like, hurry up and get ready for the beach. This is not that. This is about health. And then the weight loss is coming off as a byproduct. And I said, you know what? Combination of this, plus people telling me I'm good at it, plus hearing, okay, you need to start a YouTube channel. I said, well, I'm going to chronicle this weight loss and I'm going to put it out there. And that's one way to hold myself accountable. I only eat when I do my live stream. So I just may have some tea or something, a light snack or a piece of fruit, but I go live twice a day. And that is how I'm keeping myself accountable. And then just kind of talking people through what I'm doing, because I've been cooking ever since, my parents made me, watch my mom, but now I'm doing it in a way that I enjoy it. And so it's a labor of love for me. But, whatever business you have, I'm also a Sensi consultant and I'm also an Airbnb hostess. These are all things that I love. I love fragrance. I love hosting people and, creating a safe, nurturing space, because when I travel, I know what it feels like to be away from home. So I Airbnb out my guest suite. And so it's just stuff that I guess I happen to monetize, but I would do it for free anyway.
Well, you're doing a very good job at it.
Mm-hmm.
And, the way you do it is with such ease. And I just say, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
I really think that you're doing fantastic. I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud that you're a single mom and you're doing it too, because so many single moms just get bogged down and they just, they fall into what I call the stigma, and they think I've got to just work multiple jobs and I can't live out my dreams. I don't even have time to think about my dreams. And that's what I love about you, because I'm a huge advocate for single moms. I want to see all single moms thriving and just living as great as anyone else. I don't want it to be a struggle for anybody anymore. That's what I love about you, Margaret. You're kind of leading the charge, like you and I were kind of out there like, you can do this, you can do this.
Absolutely, I know, right?
Yeah. And the way you're doing it is so calm, and it's very positive, calm, and it's not like, oh my gosh, we're gonna try this today, this is what
that's funny.
So yes, so I love you. I love what you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you.
I'm just extremely proud of you. And
thank you, Kelly.
I mean, you're doing it all right. So it's gonna. You say that you're not making much from it right now, but I would put my money on you that you will be. So
thank you.
I will put my money on you for sure.
Thank you.
So you guys watching, if you have any questions for Margaret, you can reach out to her. What's the best way to reach you, Margaret?
So I am on Instagram, Maggie the Substitute Teacher. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. So wherever you want to reach out and inbox me, feel free. I do check it regularly. I'm still small. My YouTube channel is only 3 months old. So this is all new for me. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But tune in, leave a comment. I do go back and check it and I'll respond, or you can inbox me on any of those platforms.
Okay. And for those who may not be on social media very much, just might happen to run across this, do you have an email address you'd give out?
It's my name, Margaret A. Brown at Comcast.net. So MargaretABrown at Comcast.net. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So my professional profile is up there. If anybody's on that type of social media, I know I have a pretty common name, but you should be able to find me.
Well, I thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
in today, Margaret. It is a thrill to see you. Margaret and I talk back and forth, but I think this is actually the first time that we've actually seen each other face to face.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not in person, but this is the
No.
first time we've seen each other face to face in all of our communications. So
Right.
it's really, really, really nice to get to talk to you and spend this time. I appreciate so much. We had some viewers watching live, which is wonderful. Jen's one of my clients. Jen, thank you so much for watching. Jen's also on her weight loss journey, and she's
Yep.
doing fantastic as well. So, Jen, you might get some good ideas from Margaret on her YouTube channel because she's kind of she's doing some things similar to what you're
Mhm.
doing. She's
Yeah.
not full. You're not full keto,
No.
would you say? She's definitely not full keto, but definitely has some ideas that you could work into keto.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, um, so Margaret, thank you so much. I've
You're
enjoyed
welcome.
this very much.
Me
And
too.
for all of you guys out there, I am at thebiohackermom.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Biohacker Mom. So hope you guys have a great afternoon. Go check out Maggie the Substitute Teacher, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.